The bus station smelled like metal and burnt coffee. I sat on a plastic bench with my suitcase between my feet, watching departures flicker on a dying screen. Cities I had never planned to see. Cities that didn't know my name. My phone buzzed once. Not a call. A message. Happy New Year. Don't make this harder than it has to be. No signature. There didn't need to be one. 13 years collapsed into that sentence. 13 years of arriving early, leaving late, building something with my hands while another man called it his legacy. I shut the phone off. That's when I noticed her, across from me, too still for a place this loud, watching me like she was waiting for a confession I hadn't decided to make. "Are you okay?" she asked. Her voice didn't belong here. Calm, careful. I almost lied. Habit. But something in me had already crossed a line. Something had snapped quietly, like a tendon. "No," I said. The word tasted honest. She waited, didn't push, so I told her everything. About the toast at midnight, about my father-in-law's smile when he said I'd reached my expiration date, about my wife squeezing my knee under the table like it was comfort and not a warning. When I finished, she nodded once, like a decision had been confirmed. She stepped away and made a call. "Dad," she said, "I found him. Yes, I'm sure." New Year's Eve had started with champagne and ended with surgery, clean, precise, no anesthesia. "We're going to replace you with someone else," he'd said, glass raised. "You're too old to be useful." Laughter followed, polite, approved. I looked at my wife, 13 years married. Her eyes didn't meet mine. They followed the bubbles in her glass like they held instructions. I told myself it was business, that blood doesn't protect you from balance sheets. But later, in the bathroom, I saw her phone light up on the counter. "It's done. He doesn't suspect anything." No name, just a heart. I didn't confront her. I watched her brush her teeth like muscle memory could rinse away intent. In bed, she slept easily. I counted the spaces between her breaths and realized something awful. She wasn't afraid. Over the next days, small things surfaced. Emails forwarded a second too late. Meetings moved without me. A new consultant shadowing my projects, asking questions with the confidence of someone already holding my job. And my wife, warmer, kinder, like guilt had sharpened her performance. The betrayal wasn't loud. It was administrative, domestic, signed in blue ink. By the time I packed my bag, I wasn't angry. I was embarrassed. I didn't vanish impulsively. I prepared. At the office, I smiled, trained the replacement, answered questions, gave away the keys to rooms I'd built. At home, I watched patterns. She deleted messages but forgot about backups. She changed passwords but reused dates. People always think love makes them invisible. It doesn't. It makes them sloppy. The consultant's name appeared on her calendar before it appeared in HR. Dinner with the board ran late, too late. I pulled phone records, not illegally. The account was still in my name. Frequency tells you more than content. So does silence. I recorded nothing, copied everything. At night, lying beside her, I rehearsed questions I'd never ask. How long? Was I ever enough? Those questions give power to the wrong person. Instead, I planned. I mapped accounts, projects, shell vendors that existed only on paper I'd written. 13 years builds muscle memory and leverage. The bus station wasn't an escape, it was a pause. That's when the girl returned and sat beside me like she belonged there. "He's coming," she said. "Who?" She met my eyes. Finally. "The man your father-in-law pretends to be." Her father arrived without urgency. That told me everything. He didn't look like a rescuer. He looked like an auditor, calm, precise, measuring. He asked me one question. "Did you design the offshore structure in year 5? "Yes." "And the redundancy clauses?" "Yes." He nodded. In the quiet corner of the station cafe, he slid a folder across the table. Inside were documents I recognized, drafts I'd buried, Safeguards I'd installed when something in my gut whispered, "Never trust men who inherit power." My wife hadn't betrayed me alone, she'd been positioned. My father-in-law had planned to replace me, strip the company of liability, and let the fall land on my name, clean, efficient. I laughed once, short, surprised. "She was supposed to distract you," her father said. "No malice, just fact." I thought of her sleeping easily. When my father-in-law arrived at the house later that night, unannounced, I handed him a single envelope. Inside was a resignation letter and a copy of the safeguards. His hands shook, just enough. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't accuse, I explained. If I left publicly, the clauses triggered audits. If they fired me, the clauses froze accounts. If they tried to erase me, the paper trail resurrected me everywhere. The company could survive, his reputation couldn't. My wife stood behind him, pale, silent. She finally understood the cost of being used. "I already transferred my shares," I said, "to a trust." "Whose?" he asked. I smiled. "Your daughter's." She gasped. He turned on her like she'd struck him. Control is a fragile thing. It hates mirrors. "I'm done," I said. "You'll spend the next year cleaning up quietly, or loudly, your choice." I picked up my bag. No threats, no drama, just arithmetic. I didn't go home. I didn't look back. The bus pulled away as fireworks cracked the sky, celebrations for people who still believed in beginnings. I watched the city shrink and felt nothing tug at me. 13 years taught me one thing: loyalty is currency, and I had been underpaid. When the phone buzzed again, I didn't turn it on. Some endings don't need witnesses, they just need silence.